You're listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio podcast. It's NFC Championship week. We got a train wreck coming into San Francisco. Detroit Lions are headed on into California. And man, oh man, is this one going to be a train wreck. You got Dan Campbell leading that pack of wolves that's coming in here. And old Dan Campbell, man, he is a blue-collar hard worker. And the 49ers, this one here, man, this is going to be a train wreck. Detroit's hot. They're playing good football. And when you break it down, the first thing I did is I wanted to break it down. I start with the horse trainers, and I will tell you this. Dan Campbell has a machine gun of coaches on the Detroit Lions. That's a machine gun of coaches he's got over there to experience. And now I understand why the Lions are playing at the level they are. And it all started, when Dan Campbell came in, but it didn't even start there. You're talking about Shelley Ford Hemp. And I'm going to say salute to Shelley Ford Hemp, women empowerment. You've actually done something with your knowledge that many men couldn't do. And that's put in a plan, lay out a foundation for success. So Dan Campbell came on in, he took that home, him and Brad Holmes, man, and they built up a machine gun. And the 49ers, this is what you got. They're going to meet head to head. Obviously, we got the best of the best. The tournament is now down to the Final Four. And when you look at it collectively, you got to ask yourself, okay, how's this going to play out? The biggest difference right away I see, I'm a little concerned on the Lions defense and what they're going to be able to do because they're down there at 23rd in defensive stats. That's a little low, and you don't want to be that low. And then you also got to understand that when you put in what the Lions do, okay, and the way they ground and pound, they're going right into the train wreck of the 49ers front four. And, what you got on the front four, those are my blood brothers. That's what I call them. I get to my linebackers. Those are linebackers and DBs. Those are my pack of wolf dogs. And they're going to come in and they're going to fight. And, Dan Campbell, let me tell you something about Campbell. And I'm going to break this story. Folks, I got a lot of information we're going to run this week. This is NFC Championship week. So as fast as it comes off the transcript, it's as fast as I'll bring it back to you. With Dan Campbell ain't running from nobody. This is a blue collar. Let's get it on. We built something special here, man. And this all goes back to Chris Spellman. So you're talking about, when I look at the teams, I never look at the players. I look at the horse trainers, okay? And when you got Chris Spellman sitting in there at the top, president, and you're coming in, like I said, Shelley hit forward, man, and all of a sudden you get Dan Campbell. Let me tell you a little bit about Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is a blue collar, get it done, only one way to do it, be a man about it, and work your tail off, okay? And he's got a lot of players who have played in the NFL, who are coaches, who are bringing that same mentality. And, you got Vance Joseph sitting there. He's going to have to come in. Aaron Glenn. He's going to have to come in there, man. He's going to have to do some stuff. Because this one here, man, it's not the size of the dog. It's the size of the fight of the dog. But the only problem with that, when you match speed, mass, and power with a bigger dog, okay, and that's what you're doing with the 49ers. You're saying, okay, Detroit, we're coming in, we're going to fight. Well, that's going to be a little hard to do because you're going up in competition. I always tell people, you get into the wild card, that's one level. You go up to the division, that's another level. You make it to the NFC Championship, now it's only 4 teams left. So you're in a whole level of competition now. So I say this to tell you, there's not going to be any sleep for these coaches. Okay, there's not going to be any sleep at all. I mean, you're talking about Dan Campbell. You got Ben Johnson running the offensive coordinator for the Lions. You got a cagey old veteran, probably could still play today, Mark Brunell, quarterback coach. Then you got the Silver Fox. You got John Fox sitting there. So, folks, you got a lot going on with that machine gun coaching staff. And they're going to match up. Really, you're going to look at Kyle Shanahan. Okay, you got Steve Wilkes. And everybody knows with Detroit, they're not going to change. They're going to come in here and they're going to go ground and pound. Ground and pound. They're going to punch you in the mouth. But like I said, the only thing I can tell you, and I say this to Kid Rock, I know you coming in. I know it's been a long way for you, but you coming into the Wolf Dogs now. This a level up. Lil Wayne, I know you had us that the Niners were going to get beat, but Lil Wayne, I'm going to tell you, man, this is a level up, man. You can't. What people got to understand in the NFL, when you get to the NFC Championship game, and you go through what the Niners went through, let me tell you, Niners really don't need no coaching because they made it to the NFC Championship game, and all those players that are on that roster right now, they look at each other in the eye. You know what we got to do. You know what we got to do. So there ain't no motivation or none of these guys is taking this very seriously, okay? You're coming into our house. The biggest concern I have is, Niners used to play a candlestick, man, and they used to be able to drain the field. I was a little disappointed, and I know the NFL is going to take a look at it seriously because that field needs to be in better preparation in Santa Clara, okay? You got a lot of guys slipping around. They got to figure out how to drain that off. The temperature is going to be running about 72 degrees at game time, okay? So this is a matchup that's going to go back and forth. But you got to look at it. I mean, you got Brock Purdy and you got Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff, the thing with Goff, he's just coming home. That's University of California. So he's just coming back. He's got a lot of family. Everybody's going to be here. So there's going to be a lot of media attention. Now, here's where I'll put that media attention. And you always hear in boxing, you hear Floyd Mayweather talk about it. Okay, you go into the bigger stage. So now you don't have to just play football. You got to do the interviews. There's media set up for each position coach. Everybody's got to face the media. Okay, so what Money Mike is looking for is sound bites, anything I can grab on, any tip I can get. But I can tell you this, if Dan Campbell doesn't adjust, okay, and that's going to be hard because Dan don't do that. Coach Campbell don't adjust. Coach Campbell does things one way. He's like the Vince Lombardi. Okay, I'm going to come in here like Vince Lombardi. This is what we're going to do. It's your job to stop it. Okay? And then you got to go up in the ladder, man. You're talking about Spillman. You're talking about John Lynch. Man, you're talking about a lot of guys who know football. This is probably the most educated crew of football coaches on both sides that I've ever seen. And when I say no rest for the weary, I guarantee you this, these coaches are going to be working 20 hours a day on this NFC Championship. They probably will get just about 4 hours of sleep, and the only thing Campbell's going to tell everybody on his staff, we'll sleep after the game. We got work to do. And folks, this is an inch by inch. I mean, they're coming in to fight. They know what they're up against. The Niners know what they're up against. And this is just the preview as I'm laying it out. Okay? So you got something here. You got Sheila Ford Hemp. You got Jed York. You got two first-class owners. Okay? You got two first-class general managers, presidents. You got two first-class coaches. I mean, come on, guys. This is a huge train wreck that's coming down the pipe. You got the Motown. You got the Motor City. You got Kid Rock. Everybody's coming. Detroit's been waiting on this. And Detroit, Barry Sanders is coming. Man, you got everybody coming. Okay? Don't get it wrong. You got Tad Johnson coming. Man, everybody coming to San Francisco for this. So let's get it in. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you behind the scenes. I'm going to cover this wire to wire for you. Okay, so I don't want to miss a pin drop on this NFC Championship game. We got Debo. We still don't know what's going on there. They got to speak to the media today. So I'm just breaking it to you now. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We understand all things are possible to those who believe, and we're going to make sure that each and every day that we get out there and we get it done. Okay, that's what this is all about. And I'm loving what I'm seeing. And man, oh man, you're not going to get any better than this, than what we're working with. We are working with the best of the best. It's the Final Four, and you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we understand all things are possible to those who believe. We'll be back. We'll cover this wire to wire. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.